It feels a bit strange to say, but the opening chapter of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, in a way, feels more like a Final Fantasy VII Remake than Final Fantasy VII Remake ever did. This is especially interesting considering how the latter half of Final Fantasy VII Remake derailed the story of the original game in favor of an unknown journey that is sure to change things up quite a bit. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will no doubt make good on those promises as the game progresses, but it is still noteworthy how closely the opening chapter seems to stick to the script of the original game, resulting in a comforting and familiar experience, brought to life by the latest technology available, just like many would expect from a classic remake. Even though we all know that the remake trilogy is shaping up to become something else entirely, with its unique mixture of faithfulness and novelty simultaneously appealing to our nostalgia and sense of mystery. Just like many predicted, the game starts off with the Nibelheim flashback, serving both as a tutorial in the guise of Cloud being mentored by Sephiroth as they team up for a mission, and as a way to catch up with the story, establishing Sephiroth as the villain. As such, there aren't really any big surprises. Instead, the game draws you in by dramatizing classic scenes and bringing them to life. It even succeeds in making scenes that had the potential to become cheesy or over the top, engaging and believable in a fully realized setting, with voice acting and beautifully detailed graphics that replace the classic polygon look of the original game. Seeing as many people are still on the fence about how the story of Final Fantasy VII is being handled, the opening is sure to delight even those who had their heart set on a more faithful remake, at least as an isolated experience. It will be interesting to see to what extent this faithfulness will extend to the rest of the game, because we all know that there are some big curveballs coming up. Another thing I really liked about the opening of the game is its promise of exploration, as it is now possible to traverse the terrain in new ways by jumping over certain obstacles and even climbing some walls. That in itself might not sound very exciting, but the game delivers on the experience by having the game world really accommodate this new feature, even when it doesn't really lead to any real rewards. A scene that really stuck out to me was when Tifa becomes the party's guide early on, and they are running up the slopes of Mount Nibel. The speed at which you run feels really fun and refreshing, especially since you don't seem to become fatigued. This allows for fast exploration where you aren't running out of breath every few seconds. The music in that particular scene also stood out to me, as it felt like almost a perfect accompaniment to exploring a big open world, making me excited for what's to come and how we will get to traverse the big open areas in the full game. The combat also feels smoother than ever, even more so than in Final Fantasy VII Remake episode Intermission, and it's a lot of fun to play as Sephiroth as well. Lastly, I just want to say that I appreciate the added silliness Final Fantasy VII Rebirth seems to be bringing to the table. As opposed to Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth seems to embrace its lighter side a bit more, with a tad bit more humor and emphasis on silly minigames. Now that we're out of Midgar and things are going to get a bit more unhinged with all the talking cat and dolphin action, it might not seem all that strange that the overall silliness is going to get ramped up a bit. That being said, looking back, it does make you wonder whether Final Fantasy VII Remake wasn't unnecessarily somber and serious at times, despite some of the humor. At least the silliness of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth feels very much at home, and is sure to offer a good contrast to some of the game's more emotionally loaded moments. I also think that the ability to roll around and jump over obstacles adds to some of that overall lightheartedness, since it takes away from the need to have Cloud always be so cool and collected while running around. So those are my thoughts on the opening of the game so far, although I'm sure to be re-evaluating my stance for years to come. A part of me would have liked to see some more nods to the stranger parts of Final Fantasy VII compilation lore, but I'm also quite appreciative of the more faithful approach, even though I know it isn't meant to last. But what did you think of the opening of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can enjoy everything Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has to offer together. Hope to see you around, but until next time,